For July the 26th, 2019, we dip into some dark energy and talk about some usual suspects, some irritating news stories, and we ask you which game villain you'd hench for. That's right, we're bad now. Welcome to level 293. My name is Cole Ross.
I'm Dennis Furia.
I'm David Mysmith.
And I'm Ben Merkel.
And you're listening to The Level. It's a podcast for people who love video games. Welcome back, Dennis.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
Yeah. I think, wait a minute. David, were you here I don't know who was here last time. Help.
Oh my gosh.
So I have a theory. I think we could train a neural network on our intro to analyze the minute pauses between when we introduce ourselves, which I think correlates to how sure we are or still remember of who comes first based on when we were last on.
Maybe. I don't know. But David, you were here last time, I believe.
Yeah, everyone but me.
Everyone but you. Yeah. No, you usually, I if somebody's been away, I welcome them back, and I ask them what they've been up to. So Dennis, what you been up to?
Oh man, let's see. I had a little bit of travel. Went to North Carolina, and that was fun.
Nothing crazy going on there in the past week.
Yeah. Charlotte is a super cool city, but super disorienting. Like, usually my sense of direction is really, really good. Mm-hmm. But this time in the city, just like I got so turned around, and GPS wasn't working that well. So just constantly got lost. But a nice city.
Very
cool.
It
was only about 120, 130 degrees, so that wasn't bad either.
Yeah, no, that it got rowdy.
Oh, really? Did they riot?
Oh no, I was speaking specifically.
Did they chant for you to go home, Dennis, when you got back on the airplane?
Yeah, I conveniently missed that part.
Yeah. No, yeah. When I said when I was talking about rowdiness, I was talking about the temperature. But yeah, when I made the cheeky comment about nothing bad happening in North Carolina, that's what I was referring to obliquely. Hey everybody, shit's really fucking scary right now. And things, so just to peek behind the curtain there, we spent about like 15-20 minutes talking about the state of things in politics and things like that.
We solved everything.
Yep, no, and we're keeping it back, where we're being hired as consultants. This is the last episode of the show. No, it just it was personal friend stuff, all amicable. I believe.
Yeah, very much.
But it is important to be able to speak with friends about this and know that we are all concerned for each other, and understand. Extending to everybody who's listening, we wish you all the best in dealing with this however you can, hopefully by finding solace in each other. And yeah, just getting through it and doing what you feel is correct as best you can. Yeah. I don't mean to speak for everybody, just in the role of proctor, for the sake of proctoring this and communicating to people what understood or what we thought about. Just not what we generally do here. We can make offhanded stuff, but offhanded comments about things. But yeah, well, it's good to have you back, Dennis.
Glad to be back.
Yeah. How about you, David? What's going on?
Not a whole lot. This has been a little bit back in terms of time, but mentioned before we started airing, got to see the ticker tape parade for the U.S. soccer team, which was really cool. Nice. That's I at the very least a kind of a bucket list type of situation, and it was just really cool to see.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part, other than the, actually being there, seeing the team go by and, those sorts of things, was there are a number of people who apparently, so like as far as I could tell, the apartments overlooking the street had been like each one was given a very significant confetti ration.
Okay.
And there were a number of people that clearly didn't quite understand how confetti worked, because they threw out just like entire clumps of it, as opposed to like, it kind of, spreading or whatever, which was just funny.
No, there a lot of grasshoppers, no tortoises. Well, what's that fable? The tortoise and the hare?
Rabbits.
Yeah, there we go.
The tortoise and the lazy grasshopper.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, I mixed up. Those are basically the same same fable,
Yep.
right? Okay, cool.
Grasshoppers have hair on them, probably.
Yeah, they've got membranes.
Yeah. They're both things. Yeah.
We're gonna find the Aesop's Fables fans in our audience, and we just made them really mad.
I have never been so disappointed as I was.
That's something I think. Everything has to have like a cinematic universe now. I want to see like the Aesop's Fable cinematic universe.
And they try to make it dark and edgy is the problem. I don't know.
The hare has a cocaine habit.
Yeah, the Brothers Grimm can get away with that, but
it's right there in the name.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. You got to see you got to see those heroes.
Yep.
They did a sport good. I genuinely admire them. I said heroes, and I realized I might have been coming out the gate a little bit too hard. So then I undercut it by saying they did a sport good. To
be fair, so one of my favorite actually landmarks there in the city is like the street that every ticker tape parade's been done on, which is Broadway down near the stock exchange. They basically have inlaid every half block or something, a plaque that is listing the date and reason for every ticker tape parade that's been given. So it's really interesting because it's everything from troops coming back from World War II to the king of Siam visiting to hey, the Pope's here, to Gandhi's visiting, all these things. And it is, to be fair, called the the Avenue of Heroes. So I feel like the name is justified.
Yeah. No, I feel a genuine sense of pride about that team and what they did.
Totally.
That's not something I feel an awful lot. But yeah, no, it's that's cool that you got to be there and experience that moment.
Hey, I was born relatively near you.
Yep. Oh man. Ben, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I think the most exciting news is I bought tickets for the Duckfeed thing at the end of August, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah. No,
I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to bring I'm not going to dox someone, but I'm bringing Brian Perk since he lives in Portland as well. Yeah.
Nice.
So, should be a good time.
Yeah. You'll be getting those you'll be getting the pins in the mail.
Yep.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. I am very much looking forward to it, but I'm also daunted by the amount of work.
How many podcasts are you personally doing that day?
6. No.
6?
I think 5.
That's still a good number.
Yeah.
It's still more than 4 more than I've ever done in a day. So.
Yeah, so something like that. I don't know. I'm very curious to see how it's going to go. Which I know that might not inspire a lot of confidence in people who have made travel plans. I'm like, I hope it goes well, but it's not something we've done before. We've usually just kind of piggybacked on other on other events, doing something of our own. I want it to go well so we can do more of them. Hopefully in different places, with different people and stuff. Yeah. it'd be cool if we could get there. But yeah, looking forward to seeing you. It's been a while since I've seen Perk too.
Yeah, I know. Probably since college, right?
Maybe shortly after. I forget.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He you can cut this out if you want, but he got engaged this last weekend too.
Oh, so fantastic!
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's happening. Remember, Nick Glauber from Check It Out Comrade. He got married just this past week.
Oh, sweet.
Wedding bells.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are we all like avoiding talking about video games because we haven't played anything this week?
Oh,
it just seems like that because of the politics chat. For me, I've got nothing huge going on. I had a good deal going where my family was away on vacation, which meant I didn't have to spend any time attending to their needs, which was good. So, and now I am dealing with selling some stuff on the Facebook Marketplace, and anybody who's tried to sell anything online knows that it is exclusively people who want to waste your time. So I had to mute my phone, which normally isn't a problem this time of night, because just a lot of people asking, is this still available? You know, and like it's like how low will you go? I'm like, I don't know, probably what I asked for it. Stuff like that, and it's like it's like shelves is what I'm trying to sell. It is good.
Have you tried the tactic of like marking it up like $10 or $20 from what you would ask, and then just telling everyone when they text that, be like, oh yeah, I'll cut off $20.
Yeah, I tried it in the past. Then they got greedy and they wanted more. Yeah. Which isn't how negotiations work, but everybody wants to try it. I know you're selling that thing for 50. You know, would you take 40? And it's like, yeah, probably. How about 35? No, that's not. What planet are you from?
This is the person that goes to karaoke night and goes straight to Dream On, you know?
Yeah. No, guys put in all these songs in a row.
I'm trying to think of who would be offended by that joke.
Tons of Aerosmith fans in our audience.
So I feel like the optimal strategy is just when, you know, people call you up and, you know, want to know about, you know, oh, is this store available? Be like, you know, tell them you already sold it, but for the right price, you'll bump the seller off and get it to them.
for the right price, for a finder's fee, I'll give you their address. Yeah. And like, what's frustrating about it is like, it is all just IKEA furniture that I bought for a different apartment. Like, you know, for a different place that I don't really have like any need for. I've like, you know, got better replacements for it, or just don't necessarily have a spot for it. And it's like, I could take this to Goodwill, but I don't know. I could probably just try selling it too. Taking it to Goodwill is about as good as throwing it away. Just
not for the person who gets it at Goodwill, but
true enough. So it's like, what's most important for me is getting rid of it. Like, I just want it out of my garage. But also if I can get, you know, part of my grocery money or whatever, I don't even need the money. I don't know. I feel like this is a problem.
It's the principle.
Yeah. No, that is a thing well-adjusted people think. I'm doing this on principle. Yeah, no, I should probably. Oh well, it'll be fine, I think. God, I just want this dresser out of my house.
You're not finding someone to buy a dresser. You're trying to like avoid having to pay movers.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're trying to do reverse moving.
Yes. Yeah.
I want you to move my stuff and give me money.
That's the other thing is the dresser that I'm trying to get rid of. I can't actually load it up in my car. And take it to Goodwill. I'd have to bother my brother to use the trailer that he has to you know, drive it over there, and that is too much for me. So instead I'm going to ask for $50. It's $50 for a dresser that retails for $140. Am I crazy? No.
Time will tell.
Yeah. Buy.
Yeah.
Our deals are crazy.
Who wants this? Anybody want this dresser?
Are you Wait, are you using the podcast to advertise this?
Yeah.
Are you at the end of your rope right now?
Just so sick and tired of getting these fucking Facebook messages. No, that's what's going on here. How do you guys feel about doing the show?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right.
We've got the usual kind of show for you: the grind, the multiplayer, and then our end bosses. I don't know. I must be in a weird mood today because my end boss story is gonna be negative. Dark Cole's coming out. But let's get started with the grind. The grind, where we talk about the games we've been playing over the past period of time or so. Dennis, you've been away. Mm-hmm. What you been playing?
Yeah, I got a doozy for you guys. This is fun. This is a game I've talked about before on the show, City of Heroes, and I talked about how I found like a really good role play group in it, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I suppose this was inevitable.
Did you guys break up?
The role play group, no. The role play group has gotten horny.
Oh no! Oh, some horny people got in.
Go on.
And slowly at first, and now and then very quickly.
Wait, I feel like be careful. I feel like you could alienate a significant part of our constituency.
Yeah, a lot of things, a lot of horny things begin slowly at first.
Yes, and then quickly. That like, not everyone, a good 3/4, I would say, of the group is playing various form, all females, all girlfriends with each other all at once. And the in-character chat on Discord and the in-character chat in the game is just one long diatribe about biting lips and elongated glances, long glances, and blushing and hands on hips. And I really don't know what to do with
me, senpai zombie.
Has it turned in?
Yes. So the theme of the group was like it's like a super group for undead superheroes, and now that has turned into a undead superhero harem anime, I guess.
Has it turned into creepy asterisks all over the place?
Creepy asterisks? Say more.
It's a subreddit where people use asterisks and do something like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just repulsed. Just check out the subreddit.
Yeah.
It might be. I mean, to the extent that asterisks are used to describe actions when you're like in the RP chat, that's definitely in effect. And the weirdest thing is that for the first couple of weeks that I was apart, everyone was totally, playing it normal, really cool to hang out with. It's fun to play in a group. But now it's like you can't walk into the room and say hi without getting a ton of text just about stuff you don't want to hear about.
Yeah. So
I'm curious. I'll stop there and ask, what would you guys do? And then I'll describe where I went.
I would quietly part ways.
That's an Irish exit situation for sure.
Yeah. So for me, and this is generally how I feel about. Feel about this. They're obviously getting something out of this, and it seems to be consensual, at least among the people who are participating. And I would not want them to feel bad for getting something out of it. So, I'd probably just leave without saying anything, or like quietly talk to the people who aren't into it and say, hey, yeah, this is a real damper on things, so I'm gonna go. So like that way people who are invested in your presence aren't just like, oh well, that was a dick move of his, and I just would get away, because that would be, I don't know, like just part of being in the guild is to have the guild chat, and if the guild chat is all that kind of stuff, when you're not looking for that,
there's a lot of lip bites,
and I'm happy they're having fun, but it's an unfortunate turn of events.
It was surprising. So my first move was to go to the person who founded the guild and just PM them and be like, hey, was this always the goal and I missed it somehow?
Yeah.
And they were like, no, I don't know what happened. But this is the crazy thing that so everyone's got alts, and so there's like, each person so far is playing, 2 or 3 different characters. People will come on as their alts that are like the non-harem anime alts and be super cool and fun to hang out with and all that. It's just there's a time comes where everyone like goes and comes back as their undead sexy selves.
It's literally after dark.
To some extent, yes. So so I went and checked with them. I'm like, was this confirmed that I just didn't walk obliviously into this? Because it is also weird. I happen to be playing a young female character, and to just get constant like layups to join in before I kind of gracefully bowed out of the in character chat anyway.
Yeah.
But just constant layups to be like, they'll just dodge and weave through that one.
Yeah.
Which I had the thought as I was thinking about how annoying that was, that here, how privileged is it to be a white male who's feeling harassed in his his
literal power fantasy
female role play character. Like, life is so hard for me.
Technology's weird.
Technology is so weird. So this is all going down. I'm kind of like, I'll ghost on in-character chat a little bit. I put a significant amount of time to building like my room in the base, and I don't want to leave that. And then there are some interesting things going on from a non-sexy time story idea that I had that like I'm gonna play out. So I'm hanging around for now and just kind of trying to gracefully sidestep all the horniness. But there was the group was like, we should go into City of Villains, which is kind of you can jump in on the villain side in City of Heroes. I was like, this is an awesome idea. Everyone's going to create new characters. We're all going to start from the tutorial together. How much fun is that? I'm like, all right, here's the goal. My villain character needs to be completely unfuckable.
What's your strategy for making an unfuckable villain?
So I can let me see if I can find the bio to read you, because I was pretty proud of it, and this was not something that I had a ton of time put into it. Character bios, here we go. So my character is Duke Goodboy.
Duke Goodboy, okay.
Duke was the canine companion to an evil master working on a device to mind control dogs. But after drooling heavily on the prototype, the device only managed to swap Duke's mind with his master's body. With his newfound freedom and opposable thumbs, Duke now lends his exuberant support to whoever showers him with the most praise.
Hey Dennis, I don't know how to break this to you. You just like stepped on like 7 different fetish minds. Like it's remarkable. That's a good effort. Run that past somebody who's more ruined than you.
God damn it! I just wanted to make Doug from Up. Wait. But here's the great thing. So last night we did the like tutorial together. Everyone shows up. No horny characters.
Huh. Well, they haven't gotten to know each other yet.
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. So I'm, at least for now, it seems like City of Villains is the safe place to hang out. We shall see.
Ironic.
What just a weird, interesting. I don't even know what the right adjective is. There have just been constant moments over the past couple of weeks. It's like, okay. Like,
That's It's
I don't know where else I would get this gaming experience. So it's been fun times. And it's crazy too to just hop over to general chat and be like, oh yeah, you were in character. You're just talking about, oh, I hope we weren't too loud last night. And over here it's like, hey dude, how's it going? Oh yeah, I'm on break. And
they're committed to that.
Has Jen seen you play this game, or has she ever like walked in on you playing this game?
Well, you could walk in and there's nothing to see, right? It's a bunch of people standing still, just like around chatting. So effectively, it's a chat room.
Yeah.
No.
All right.
It would be interesting to get her take on it. So, babe, I have something to tell you about.
She would be a good person to run a character by.
Yeah. How do you feel about Duke Goodboy? Actually, no, I take that back. I put a bunch of not a bunch of time, but I had like talked about, I've got this really cool idea for the character I'm doing, Simulacra, backstory and stuff. So we had chatted about that piece of it.
I wonder, you should just be something abstract, like a black hole or something like that.
Yeah,
The human black hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that couldn't go wrong.
Doesn't have any connotations. I think you're safe.
It's pretty. Yeah, I don't see any fetishes around that. Maybe I don't know.
I'm sure someone would find a way. Ask Freud.
So have you played any City of Villains, or are you all in the prep?
No, just the tutorial and like 1 or 2 missions afterwards. I mean, it is like, I get now how much fun it is to play a MMO with a 7 to 8 person team, with solid 32 mooks in any area what you walk into.
Yeah.
Where combat is just these giant mobs running around like that. I've never really had that experience before, and that has, like, I get it. Like, that's so much fun. I am kind of a character that can solo pretty well in City of Heroes. City of Villains, I'm playing like a hardcore tank, and it's like, if I'm not playing in a group, it just takes forever.
Wait, what class are you playing in Villains?
Tank. I think it's literally called Tanker.
In Villains?
Yeah.
Huh. I think that's a new one.
They let you play as a boat?
It's like originally Tanker was a hero class.
I think from what I can tell, the hero and villain like power sets have all merged. Like, anyone can be anything. Yeah. So, you can have your good superhero that summons demons from hell.
As you do.
Yeah. And what you do with those summon demons on your own time, I'm just going to stay out of in-character chat.
Nice.
Fun stuff. Let's see. I went back to Wipeout, the VR racing game. Well, the racing game that has a VR version. I think that's because I'm also making my push to finish Borderlands 2 in VR. And I have now confirmed, I don't know if I mentioned this before on the show, what I remember as the end boss, and having thought that I beat that game, is I totally never finished Borderlands 2.
Oh.
So unless go ahead.
I'm trying to remember what the end boss is in Borderlands 2 then. Is it not Jack? Handsome Jack?
I'm guessing it is. I thought it was like you killed Jack at some point in the big encounter with Angel. If you remember that, you have to go, and the entire game you're trying to track down, or for a good portion of the game, you're trying to track down Angel and get through all of Jack's defenses and impersonate him to get into his base. And then you have to wind up killing Angel because it's the only way to take away Jack's power supply. And I remember that as like the climax of the game. And I think my mind just inserted like, and you kill Jack somewhere in there, but you wicked don't. And there's another whole area after that I remember, but I don't remember anything in it. So I think I'm now seeing the true end of the game for the first time. All that to say, I was doing my push for that in VR. That got my VR kind of gumption going, and so I went back to Wipeout, which is as fun as ever. And that's about everything.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Borderlands 2 on VR, that's the entire game?
The entire game. Yeah.
Okay.
You cannot do multiplayer, unfortunately. Okay. But I've never done Borderlands multiplayer anyway.
Gotcha.
What? Oh.
Yeah. I've never, I've always had it. I think I've actually tried once or twice.
I think we've played a couple times, maybe.
I've tried, yeah. Well, I'm sure I've done it at some point with you, Dave.
Way back in the day, yeah.
But I've never put a significant amount of time into playing it co-op.
No.
Yeah. I think they do a good job of making it so that you're not really supposed to play the story together with multiplayer. It's just kind of playing whatever mission somebody's on, and then, yeah.
That was always my fear. Is like my first time through the game, I always wanted to like actually listen to the stuff, and so I was worried about bringing in people who had been through it before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's been fun overall. I'm going in, a Gunzerker that is focused on pistols. I have one that is a corrosive like hand cannon pistol that only has 8 rounds. But does massive damage. The other is a legendary fire pistol that just never runs out of bullets. As in, like, you literally never have to reload. And it's so funny because you get it, and it says, damage this, damage that, everything, magazine size 1. I'm like, well, that's crap. Like, there's got to be something to this. And you just hold down the trigger and you never have to let go. That's great.
That seems like an advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is, except for some of my Gunzerker abilities trigger on reloading.
Oh yeah.
Or
Gotcha.
trigger it's like the last shot in the magazine deals extra damage based on how big the magazine is.
Right.
And I just don't get to use it with that one.
Huh.
I've got a corrosive fully automatic sniper rifle with like dual barrels that rotate every time it fires, so that's fun to watch. And then the last one is just an assault rifle that does slag damage. So kind of start by slagging a couple targets, jump over and gunzerk with both my pistols, and then if I ever need a range to polish someone off or kind of pick someone off, I've got my corrosive sniper rifle. That's it. It's a good setup.
I still think the prize for the most unique gun in the game goes to have you ever gotten Good Touch?
No, I've never even heard of it.
It's basically a submachine gun that you can only get by repeatedly tipping Moxie at her bar. And among its other various stats, one of its special abilities is that while it's equipped, your controller continuously vibrates.
Oh no.
Weird.
The game of dumb jokes strikes again.
Yes.
And they make it work.
for Wipeout VR, is that in cockpit or are you behind the ship?
They have a surprisingly strong set of options.
Mm-hmm.
So you can be behind and the camera doesn't roll. You can be behind and the camera rolls. You can be in the cockpit, the camera doesn't roll, or it rolls with the ship. Mm-hmm. You also have settings for like how much of a like visible cockpit there is around you. In terms of effectively seeing like a completely clear field of view, save for the ship, or seeing some like kind of detailing lines up in at the top of your vision. So they give you a lot of control over that. I, of course, am playing on the mode that has you like in the cockpit rolling with everything. And it's surprisingly like, maybe it's just because I'm used to it, but being able to look through turns and just kind of, it all feels right. And has that nice touch that you're sitting down, you're sitting down in the game. That feels right. And you can tell yourself enough of a story around. This is like hyper advanced, gravity technology that they clearly have. So they've just zeroed out your inertia.
I don't know that my inner ear would listen to that. No.
That's fair. So you can do behind the ship, no rolling.
Yeah. When you're in the cockpit, does that get in the way of like planning your turns? Because like the courses in Wipeout are crazy.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. You just gotta learn to. I'm like looking left as I'm talking, so you can't hear my voice. Mm-hmm. So you just gotta learn to look through them. I've actually found that you have better visibility with the VR view than you would, at least in my memories of playing the game from a third person view. Yeah. Because a lot of times the tracks have extreme verticals, so drops or rises, or essentially you're doing a loop the loop. And in the game, just the nature of where the camera is and the way the track is sloping, you can see 10 feet in front of you. Whereas when you're in VR, you just look up and there you can see a lot further.
Yeah.
So as a point of order, I think you pronounced that incorrectly. I think you meant to say extreme verticals.
Pardon, but my racing parlance is still coming in.
I don't speak racer yet.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Racist.
But David, I think of you every time I play because I use the Haramau class.
Yes.
It's the little robot voice that every time you select it, Haramau.
Yeah, I really want to find some place that I can buy some of the game's merch that they've made, because they at various points have produced Harimau merch, and I have no idea where I'd go to actually still get it.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. Anything else besides those?
No, that's the big stuff.
Gotcha. Ben, I'm curious about you. What have you been playing?
I only got one thing. This is going to be a light week for me, but I've been playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I've been playing a lot of even though I've only talked about one thing for the last 3 or 4 weeks, I've been playing a lot of this game. It's it's a long game, but yeah, I feel kind of inadequate, only talking about one game and just being like, still playing it.
Yeah. So you texted me some goofy stuff about the story. I don't expect you to speak in specifics about that, but how do you feel about the general tone of the game halfway through?
I'm fine with it. It's like it's going hard off the rails. Like they're making some bold M. Night Shyamalan like decisions with the game. But this is like later Shyamalan too, not early Shyamalan.
So how many times have you come out of the Matrix?
I think twice.
Okay.
So I just came out for a second time yesterday when I was playing, and I'm at about level 26, I think. So
You came out good. The game is finally letting you decide that.
Wait, what do you mean?
Oh, come on. There was the big anger around
the controversy over the game's expecting your choice to be. Yeah.
No one bats 1,000.
No, that's fine. I was scanning that to make sure that it was based on something, and that like, Dennis, I didn't know you felt this way. Whoa. Good.
But yeah, I enjoy the game. It's got to the point though, so I'm at level 26, and they do a good job, like kind of like storyboarding, like everything you need to do for the next like 5 to 10 levels. Mm-hmm. Even at the outset when you have the map, they put level tags on all the different areas, so you can see everything up to like level 50 of where you can go. I like that aspect of it, but then the rough part right now is like, okay, so I have kind of my next long-term goal, which I need to do before I can do my next long-term goal after that. Like I have to be, I think, level like probably 50 or so before I can do all 5 of the things. Like the 5 things kind of are equally spaced between like 25 and 50. So I'm looking down like a pretty long grind. And so that's like the one kind of downside with it. Yeah. Where it's like, okay, so now it's kind of like to the point where it's like, here's the world. You need to go find a bunch of stuff to do now, do it, and then level up to the point to do the things that you want to do. So I'm not a huge fan of that aspect of it. So I'm kind of like losing a little bit of motivation, but I still want to try and see the game through. Maybe my one complaint with it is I wish there was a way that there was like more of a critical path that you could do without having to them like forcing you to explore the world, which sounds kind of shitty, but at the same time it's like I don't know. I think that might be better though than like I don't want to have to spend like I don't know 10 to 20 hours like doing chores to see the ending of the game, right? So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, like you I think you texted me something like, "Oh, Assassin's Creed Odyssey is making some choices," and I asked how so, and you said, do you mind about spoilers? I intend to play this game because it sounds like it. I mean, it sounds good, like based on what you and David have said, and Mai in the chat has talked about it. Being good as well. It sounds like a good game that I would like to play. And like, honestly, knowing what I know about it makes me more excited to get to that point and see how it articulates.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll probably like have another weekend with it or so and see if it kind of keeps my attention but I could also see myself like if I get bored, if I put another like 5 or 10 hours in it, it doesn't really do anything. It's just chore type stuff. Yeah, I can see myself like, kind of bouncing off of it, which is a bummer. Yeah. But I don't know. We'll see. David, what level is your character? How far along are you in the story?
See, I'm trying to think. So I've only come out of the Animus once. I've uncovered the weird like so the Kole.
Yeah.
And then I've gotten to Athens, and I think I'm somewhere with like that kind of whole thing.
Okay. Yeah.
So I have no idea. I've kind of been screwing around with other things, so I don't recall what that actually means in terms of where I am.
You're probably at the high teens or low 20s for level wise, I think.
Okay.
Somewhere around there.
Makes sense. So, yeah, so it sounds like I still have a ways to go before it gets too far off the rails.
It's leaning off the rails right now, maybe.
It's teetering.
Like, without spoiling anything, I think I said this to you, Cole. I think at some point they like wrote down a list of everything that has to do with ancient Greece, and then they're like gave this to the writers and are like, all right, make a story where every one of these things is in the story. Like find a way to do that. It's like doesn't matter if these events are 100 years apart. Like make it happen. It's like okay.
Hi, it's Assassin's Creed Odyssey, starring Tzatziki Stanitopoulos. What are you talking about?
What?
I tried to think of the most stereotypically Greek name that I could. I'm not sure if that is problematic or not. It's just, I mean,
I don't think so. I think everyone loves tzatziki sauce.
Man, I'm hungry for euros. I have to go like 2 towns over to get a good euro. Go to Athens Greek restaurant. And...
You could go to Athens, Ohio. I heard they have good euros there.
Appropriately
to be fair,
enough.
Athens Greek restaurant is amazing.
Oh yeah, isn't that who catered your graduation party, David?
Yep, it is.
Yeah, no, that was great.
Baklava for days.
Yeah, no, nothing like standing in the beating June sun, eating spiced lamb. It sounds like I am bashing it. No, it was delicious. That was like the best, the tastiest of the graduation parties I went to. Yeah. Cool. Well, I hope that it does not continue to be tedious for you, Ben, because I would like to see how this. I would like to experience vicariously how this works out for you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a real cliffhanger. That's what I wanted to leave us off
on. David, how about you?
So I have continued to play on with the Fallout 76. I made it to the level cap, and then I've also then have just am kind of now, I guess I should say, once you reach the level cap in that area, you in that game you basically then get the ability, you can no longer gain stats, but you can keep gaining perk cards.
Okay. So
you can switch up your play style. And it's very much a thing where, by the point at the level cap, you won't have a complete build. So it very much continues on. So that's been kind of fun. I've been doing the Brotherhood of Steel quest line, which is really cool. And I'm just about to get into some of the Enclave faction stuff.
Okay.
Which I think is, I don't know, the way they do story missions is really, really weird because you can pretty easily skip big chunks of the story. And so I've ended up doing that just from the fact that exploring the place, and a lot of the story missions are you needing to do chores for someone to get them to tell you where something is, or you can just be exploring and happen to stumble upon it.
Okay.
So I think I'm about, I've probably done, I don't know, maybe a third of the official story missions, although it seems like I'm kind of getting to in the neighborhood of the, 2/3 way through. It's a little bit weird though, because there's nothing stopping you from right at the outset without doing any story missions, just beating the game.
Okay.
Because basically the win condition is to launch a nuke at a certain target and defeat the resulting enemy. And, all of the other missions are basically, a long involved process of you, figuring out that that's what you need to do, and then finding where the nuclear silos are and stuff like that. But by much earlier on than that point, you will have almost certainly found the nuclear silos. And so you can literally just go and do it if you wanted to.
I like that. I like that it doesn't get you from that. I like that. It feels like something that could happen in the regular standalone Fallout games, or it sounds like that anyway.
Yeah.
Where it would respect your exploration. It's kind of like, yeah, you're here. Like if you can figure out a way to gut around it, then go for it.
Yeah, and I'd say it's kind of a my opinion, a mixed bag from that type of thing. Overall, I agree that's probably a good thing, and it's probably the best way to handle it in this, in the game as they've built it. I feel like it does a little bit, lay bare the fact that like they kind of just skimped on the story.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, overall, it's pretty good. Having a lot more of, or at least a more front row seat to the establishment of the Brotherhood of Steel is really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
My understanding is they also this time around go a lot more into kind of revealing some of the conspiracy and stuff like that behind like who exactly started the war, why was Vault Tech doing the things they did, those sorts of things, which is interesting. So that's pretty good. For the reasons though that will be my end boss, I've kind of put that a little bit more on the back seat. And I've actually, the main thing I've been doing is I got back into Warframe.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, that's been really interesting. I've been out of it for about a year. And so it's kind of been a combination of, it's really interesting the degree to which like my muscle memory, is still here in terms of, being able to do most of the parkour and stuff like that. I can still do the game's kind of pseudo equivalent of like strafe jumping, stuff like that. On the other hand, enough has changed with the actual like storyline that I have no idea what's going on.
Oh yeah, it's been too long. How many seasons or expansions has it been?
It's been about two major expansions, I believe, and luckily I was more or less at the end of the previous one. It's a lot of it was less strictly speaking story and more of a thing where it's like there's now a lot of content and it's not clear, which one is directly the next thing for me to do. So they've added, the big thing is they've added 2 open world areas. One on, I think, Saturn and one on Venus, I believe.
Okay.
And I haven't really explored Saturn yet. I've been exploring Venus, which is really interesting. The plot line is it's a Corpus, who are like the evil ultra capitalists, debt world, where in order to get jobs, the people have to basically go massively into debt in order to get cybernetic implants. And then if they can't pay their debt, then they could very well get like their arms and legs repoed.
That's a good Deus Ex storyline.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things I love is one of my favorite things about Warframe is the degree to which it, particularly in the character designs, tends to make things very, very alien, and they do that big time with the character designs for these cybernetics. because it's things where like there's certain characters that like have straight up the entirety of their head has been replaced with a robot head.
Okay.
Or things where just like their legs have straight up been replaced with like industrial robotics. So it's very much, it is not the like in terms of looks, it's not the Deus Ex or the Crisis or Halo or anything like that. It is very much straight like what would happen if we welded power tools to people.
Ugh.
So that's kind of interesting. Probably the creepiest is there's a faction of like children where they're mostly robotic but still have their like kind of child faces.
All right, Dennis, these are good ideas for villains in City of Villains.
Yeah.
And you could make them in with the character creator, but and they also speak entirely in like pseudo Cockney, which is pretty awesome.
Huh.
So that's kind of cool. It's kind of fun. They've a little bit downplayed some of the kind of amoral aspects of the Tenno, your character's faction, which I'm a little bit disappointed in. So I'm hoping at some point they go back to that and back to some of the kind of Lovecraftian themes. But for now, I'm definitely enjoying it. They've added a lot of interesting new gameplay. You can now, in addition to the open world itself, you now can explore it with a hoverboard that you can, do tricks on, and that's how you basically build faction with the kid faction, is by doing sweet tricks.
That's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah, they've also added, I think my favorite feature, just because I like the idea of it, is they've added spearfishing. However, you're not actually...
What the fuck game even is this?
This is very much, it is like the Star Citizen of like action games.
Can you spearfish while you're skateboarding?
I do not believe so, although I believe you could jump off of your skateboard and then while in the air do like a bullet time glide and spearfish.
In that case.
I mean,
whoa now.
I mean, this was the game where one of the classes was like a DDR weapon version, right?
Yeah. It's like the Octavia. No, that's not it.
I'm not surprised by these things. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the classes straight up like you will all of your teammates get bonuses, but buffs, but only if they like reload or shoot or whatever in rhythm with the music.
Oh, that's cool. Kind of like Rez or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I think my favorite thing about this spearfishing, though, is you're not actually catching fish. You're catching the Corpus's little like underwater robot drones that are like patrolling around, like cleaning out the system's pipes and doing surveillance and stuff like that.
Okay.
So they're all straight up like robots that you then butcher, not for their meat, but for their like components.
As you butcher robots for?
Salvage, yeah. I mean, you salvage them.
To be fair, you butcher a ton of robots and people. That getting back to the like
I like
the
how
game
you snuck
is,
in the in people and people.
Well, I mean, the game
Details.
is one of the, like I said, one of the parts I really like about it, especially some of the earlier stories, is it is a little ambiguous. Like, yeah, your characters are fighting on the right side. It's not entirely clear that you're good guys.
They just mean you're fighting on the literal right side of the battlefield. Yeah.
Yeah. Like there are literally at least 3 of the Warframes. Their abilities entirely revolve around biological warfare. You can do some very, very questionable things. And like I think every storyline wise, every single character you fight is either a mindless robot or a conscript. So it's like no one you kill actually wants to be there.
That's so, like, bleak.
Yeah,
that's probably how it is in actual war as well. Well, that's grim, but yeah.
Yeah, it really is. But yeah, so there's some interesting elements to that. But when you're not doing that, you are flipping out like a ninja, so.
Like you do.
Yeah, exactly. Other than that, I'm currently saving up to unlock. There's a necromancy warframe that can basically its big ability is it can consume the bodies of the enemies you kill in order to give like healing boosts and stuff. And then I'm also saving up for a robotic ostrich companion.
I'm listening.
I'm lost again.
You have me at spear. Say anything, and I would have to believe you.
No, you had me at spearfishing, but you lost me again at ostrich.
Robot
companion.
Ostrich friend. That lost you.
I just again. I'm like it's not bad. I'm just kind of I'm to see.
Yeah, okay. So I really like one of the Corpus. Kind of their big thing are a lot. They field a ton of robotics, and one of them are these ostrich robots called Moa. And one of your friends in the mission, it basically gets his legs repoed, and then ultimately gets them replaced by like Moa, like reverse knee ostrich legs, and then decides to like become a Moa seller. And the character speaks entirely in rhyme because it couldn't be too normal.
Yeah.
Also, I think we all need to say the upcoming update that we're most excited for, and just I am excited for the sentient glittering teleport rocks coming to the game.
Anything, and anything is believable. Anything's possible. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds crazy. Is that all for you, David?
That's all. However, I believe sentient rocks actually are a thing.
God damn it!
Silica-based life forms.
Literally, there is a group. I have not encountered them yet, but there is a creature called a sentient that I know it's a problem people have with like in it. People trying to figure out how to mine them because they apparently look just like the rocks you mine.
Okay.
So yeah. So
it's humiliating.
Strangely enough.
Yeah. No. They. Sorry. What happened to Phil? Oh, he got mined. I should use a different name. There's a Phil in the. There's a. Yeah. There's a Phil in the community. But yeah. No. Jarvis got mined.
Is really making me want to go back and play. Have any of you played Dark Sector?
No.
Yeah, apparently that game is basically like Warframe, version 0.
Huh. Is that all for you, David?
That's all.
Okay. For me, it's just been more Graveyard Keeper because I've been working on lots of WoF stuff recently. Graveyard.
Have you unearthed the harem anime yet?
No, I have not. Although I am led to believe that is a danger. where the undead are concerned.
Apparently.
It's an interesting game, but like I don't know if it's a problem with the Switch port or if it is something that is just kind of endemic to it being a little bit of a smaller team. But there's like a lot of like menu glitches and stuff like that where if you're cursoring around your inventory, sometimes the act of selection will just jump all the way to the bottom of several different lists and be stuck there, and you have to close the window and then walk away and come back to it. That's a real minor concern. So stuff I'm doing in the game, you upgrade your church. So you tend the graveyard, and you also do sermons at the church, and depending on kind of the state of everything, both inside and outside, you get faith, which is a consumable that you use to research stuff and also craft better sermons, and it's also used to in particular crafting. It's just it is one of the resources that you are constrained by. So I've done the first of 2 upgrades that you can do from the chapel to the big church. So that was a big step that has not changed an awful lot. I have started fully engaging with hiring zombie workers. And by hiring zombie workers, what I mean is, if somebody's stats are too good to bury, but not so bad. Okay. If they're too good to bury, because the quality of the corpse will determine how efficient of a worker they are. You craft a particular potion, and you go to a special table that you build, and you consume a little bit of faith in order to raise them as a zombie, who you can then place at particular workstations, or you build special structures so that they automatically harvest resources or move resources across the map. If you have them at a workstation, you just queue up whatever you want crafted, and they craft it without it consuming your energy. So you don't have to go to sleep, or you don't have to go and, drink gallons and gallons of honey to stay alive.
That's how I get my energy too.
Yeah. So kind of setting up a little bit of automation, where you just kind of queue up a few jobs, go and tend to different things, and then come back and then grab what you need. Additionally, I have set up a vineyard, which is also a place where you can grow some hops. So I'm doing some brewing to raise enough money to get the permissions that I need from the town in order to open up new licenses. So this is, more broad in terms of, what you are doing instead of just being, graveyard keeper. It's a lot like Stardew, where you are taking the land that is given to you and figuring out how to make money off of it.
I do like the idea of the end game of Stardew Valley is you make the next corporation. Yeah. All the things off the land. Yeah.
I mean, is like that is a criticism or an observation that I've seen about Stardew Valley, because it opens up, with your guy quitting the Amazon kind of stand-in for it, and saying like, oh, I need to go live off of the land. Then he goes and gets onto the farm, and you can play it at a leisurely pace, but I'm absolutely guilty of this. I start min-maxing, and then it becomes me again, kind of like setting up a one-person corporation, trying to make as much money as possible, making it even more of an exploitative grind than possibly the job I left was.
See, I feel like that's not something I'd criticize so much as it seems very insightful.
Oh, absolutely. I don't know about criticism is the right word for it, but it's something people have observed, and I think it's very apt. But for this one, you're just trying to get enough resources to where you can unlock the quest chains for different people around the towns in order to get the artifacts that you need to get to the end game and get back home. Because again, you are a person who died in our world and woke up in this weird little medieval world where nobody seems to mind that you are serving them human meat.
So, question: the kind of mascot that appears in the logo, giving you the thumbs up, is that the dude from Undertale?
Let me take a look. There's a bit of a Sans aspect to it. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, definitely a Sans. I don't think it's the dude, but I think that might have been the wide-faced grinning skeleton is absolutely it feels cribbed from Undertale.
Just wanted to check. I'm not sure I realized these weren't like the same game or like related games.
No, they're unrelated. So I'm going to offer a technical complaint about this that it'll take a little bit. Like if you sat down and played it, it would make immediate sense. But because we're speaking verbally, I have to get it across. So something about these games is you have a limited inventory, and you have to, in order to do anything, make sure that you grab what you need before you go and attempt to do the job, right? So if you're trying to build a structure, you got to grab the wood that you need, you got to grab the metal parts that you need, go there and craft it. Something that I think is really neat about this is that different work areas or different workstations, they any container that is put into them is connected to all of the workstations or connected to all of the other stuff. So like, in my work yard where the anvil is and the carpenter's table and the circular saw and things like that, it doesn't really matter if I am carrying the things that I need to craft, as long as it is in a chest that is in that area, it'll just automatically pull from that. Same if I'm like repairing a structure in there or something like that. Similarly, like if you are in the morgue, any of your resources that you need for that, for embalming and things, or kind of in the alchemy lab, kind of similar. Something that that brings to mind though is how much managing your inventory. Like, okay, like I'm going to spend an entire day walking across the map to meet this vendor before their shift ends, and they're gone for another week. Like if everything else is functionally connected like that, why isn't it all connected? That is not fun gameplay. Like realizing you forgot the thing that you needed. Like if any of it's connected, all of it can be. Like ferrying stuff around. Like I understand big resources, like when you cut down a tree or when you mine certain ore, it's a big block that you need to, expend energy or use a zombie to break up. But once it's a small resource, it should all just go into the same pool. It doesn't actually add anything fun to the play.
Could this be that you have some special magic that you've discovered yourself and have chosen not to share with the world?
Me personally, I don't know if that's a special
within the story.
No. I just my guy. If I'm going to satisfy a quest, where I need to like give somebody 5 fish of a particular grade, and I forgot, a week ago in the game what particular grade of fish they need. Like it shouldn't matter that I brought the bronze fish instead of the silver fish. Not the bugs, but a fish of silver rating. It should just be like, oh, you have this in your possession as marked by all these different boxes. Then yeah, sure. Because like futzing around with stuff is not fun. It is just additional friction.
They're going after the inventory purist people who would play games, I guess.
Maybe. I don't know. I just they have this really good system that kind of puts the lie to why any of this needs to be a system at all.
Is there anything that actually forces you to play at a specific pace? Is there any like, oh, you only have X number of years or something like that?
No. But it's frustrating because like, oh, I forgot I need a wood plank instead of a wood fetch. Well, I guess I have to walk all the way across I have to walk like 2 different work areas across to get the wood fetches or the wood planks or whatever I said.
Maybe in the end game you make like a zombie teleporter so you don't have to deal with any of this.
Maybe. I don't know. It's just it's a bad mechanic that I didn't realize was bad. It
sounds like it's a problem that could be easily fixed with the patch, though. Is that understanding it right?
But it might be the game that they want. It might be the game they want people to play. Like that is the way that it's been done. That like this is the kind of game that this is. It is about messing around in inventory screens, which also sometimes, by the way, will lock you to the bottom of a long menu, and you have to quit out of the inventory to go back. Yeah.
Oh no.
So are you? As a side note, are you explicitly a villain in this? So what's the deal?
No, you're just an outsider. No,
somebody's got to do it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, as far as I can tell, you're not explicitly a villain. You're just doing ethically dubious things.
Okay.
In a world that may or may not be real. Yeah.
Sounds like life.
Yeah. But that is Graveyard Keeper. I have reservations, but I still also cannot stop myself from playing it. So who knows?
Multiplayer.
Now it is time for the multiplayer, where we ask you a question and then you answer it. This was my question this time. You are graduating from villain school and you have to choose a video game big baddie to henchman for. To whom do you pledge your service and why? So let's see here. Dennis, what does Lindsay say?
Lindsay says, only because I think it would be a hilarious person to work for, Handsome Jack from Borderlands 2. I guess technically you can't die because of the Hyperion resurrection stations. I wouldn't care of any boss fight outcome. Also, I could have a stupid name like Prob Lee or Dead Lee.
Probably have both. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I like probably. That is very good. Yeah. Let's see here. Ben, what does Jonathan say?
Jonathan says, generally it's bad being a henchman. You do all the work and get blamed for all the failures. Maybe a Dr. Doom who seems to really love his citizens. Kind of a cheat, but he's been in games.
Yeah, including,
Sure.
I think he's in Ultimate Alliance 3, which is tempting me, but I have too many games to play. So, bye-bye, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
But not spelled B-U-I-B-U-I.
Yes, correctly. David, what does Ollie say?
Ollie says, depends on if I'm a featured henchman or just a regular. If I'm featured, solid as snake. I get my own little arena and a special skill to take down any interlopers. If just regular henchmen, Bob Page or Walter Simons in Deus Ex, because it's more fun for people to get past without killing me, therefore increasing my chances of survival.
Yeah, you
That's
set yourself up
pretty good.
against pacifists. Yeah. Or at
Although-
least sneaky guys.
I feel like that would also work for the Metal Gear.
It's a real coin flip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd also be very confusing because from what little I know of the Metal Gear timeline, both the person who you work for and the person that kills you has a fairly good chance of having the same name.
True enough. Very confusing. Let's see here. Greg writes, I'd see if I could work for Dr. Draken from the Kim Possible cartoon. He's so stupid and unable to do anything right that in a few weeks I kick him out and be running the whole operation myself and have my own henchman or woman. Is there a Kim Possible game?
There has to be, like on Game Boy or something.
Yeah,
I feel like
that.
if you're an evil henchman, you probably don't follow the rules of whatever question someone asks.
Maybe. Yeah, no, that's the person who doesn't follow the rules is following the rules most of all. I freaked you. It's yes, it is a quandary in and of itself. Ben, what does Mike say?
Mike says, it was said already, but henching can be a tough life. It's basically middle management with a genuine risk of getting your ass kicked all the time. I figure if I'm going to choose that life, I want to at least be able to live/work in a beautiful, lavish place with nice weather and lots of other henchmen so I can fade into the background a bit. Therefore, I'd be a henchman for a hitman target.
Ooh.
As an added bonus, there's a decent chance that even if I get singled out by Agent 47, there's at least a chance that in the worst case scenario, I only get knocked out and put into a laundry bin for a few hours.
I mean, it just says, hey, surprise nap.
Man, I'm in that 2:30 slump. Where is Agent 47 when you need him?
Man,
Yeah.
I really shouldn't have gotten the extra serving on burrito day. Yeah, I'm dead. I'm dying. Huh. Good answer. Again, everybody is vying for survivability. Dennis, what does Warren say?
Warren says being a rider of the Wild Hunt would be cool. You get a badass set of armor and an awesome weapon. Ride to different dimensions, raiding worlds with your frost dogs, at least until Geralt shows up to ruin your day. From The Witcher 3.
Yes. The Wild Hunt is a bigger thing in The Witcher, generally.
Oh, okay.
At one point, Geralt was in the Wild Hunt. He rode with them for a while. Yeah.
Cool.
No, I don't know. Just a fun thing. I don't want anybody to correct us. Please don't correct us. David, what does Alexander say?
Alexander says, Tom Nook, I can be a debt collector, and none of the Animal Crossing protagonists are trying to headshot me. Seriously, henching in video games is a friggin' death sentence.
I mean, so they can't successfully do it, but do you want to live in a world or, live in existence where people desperately want to all the time?
Didn't scratch you there.
Yeah. Noah gets political. I work for the police. Good pay, benefits, and the ability to abuse my authority without recourse. See, any games.
Blah, blah.
Yeah. Blah.
It's bad when video games are better than real life in certain circumstances.
Let's see here. Ben, what does Casey say?
Casey says, I'd be stuck between two choices. The safe bet, I'd work for Wario, crafting minigames, being essentially an evil game dev with a short attention span. Or I'd go risky, work for Carmen Sandiego as a researcher, hunting down locations of relics and occasionally cleaning up after her messes.
Carmen Sandiego is a fucking amazing answer.
Yeah, that's really good.
It doesn't seem too risky, right? Like,
no.
What's the worst that can happen? Some gumshoes come and ask you questions?
You're effectively a travel agent.
Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah, no, that is a killer answer, and that almost overwrites anything that I would say.
That's really good.
Yeah. Let's see here. That was you, Ben. Dennis, what does Christopher say?
Yeah, Chris says, my pick is Wisdom Tree's Spiritual Warfare. I guess that would make me a henchman to the devil. I just want to be the dude that works in the pawn shop. When the player walks in, they lose some life due to the devilishly good selection of products at a simply low price, and the only form of payment accepted is your soul. Insert evil laughter.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally here, David, what does Ruki say?
Ruki says, definitely Big Boss. The whole reason he made his various outer heavens is so that soldiers could have a place to soldier without being treated like disposable crap by their superiors, like he and the boss were in Metal Gear Solid 3. And if there's some kind of super dangerous mission to do, he swaps from villain to protagonist and does it himself. Also, you get at least one sweet balloon ride when you join.
That is actually a really good perk. I don't know. I've only been on like one, maybe two balloon rides in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And none of them as quick or as exciting as that one.
Oh, man. Have I ever ridden a balloon? I actually don't know that I have. Huh.
I just always wondered about the people that they don't successfully catch.
I mean, they just get like sucked through a turbine. God dang it.
That or they just, die of, starvation.
They would freeze to death or suffocate first, probably.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I say that like it's a comfort. For me, I would say the Elusive Man from Mass Effect 2. Because you're pretty much already doing that. And I don't know, all those people got treated pretty well until they were sent to their death, and he went crazy and, aligned with the Reapers and stuff like that. It was okay for a while. Like, yeah, you are doing human supremacist nonsense, and that sucks, but seems like you're pretty well taken care of. He has a lot of resources in Cerberus.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Ben?
I would say Knights of the Old Republic, because it doesn't matter how evil you get. When you fight the main character, they're going to be like, hey, I'm going to try and save you. And you'd be like, okay.
I'll take the second chance. It's my fifth. How about you, Dennis?
I think I'd have to go with Captain Quark for reasons not too different from Greg, in that he is kind of a bumbling idiot that is easily influenced. And so if I ever don't like the direction that things are going, I can just make a suggestion and kind of influence him in the right direction. Plus, he's a good guy sometimes. And plus, you get to play with all the crazy cool weapons of the Ratchet and Clank universe.
Oh, okay. That answers my question. I didn't know who quite Captain Quark was from.
Captain Quark from the Ratchet and Clank universe.
Yeah. No, chicken guns.
At the end of the day, he just wants people to like him, so everything else is gravy.
Relatable. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's the one with chicken guns, right? Ratchet and Clank.
Oh, chicken guns is just scraping the surface, my friend.
Okay, yeah. That's when they marketed. That was part of the marketing.
In a similar vein to like Warframe's random name anything feature, I feel like you can take anything, add guns after it, and it's been in Ratchet and Clank.
Yep.
How about you, David?
So I'm gonna go with two kind of answers. In terms of like, I think incredibly underappreciated, badass minions. I'd have to go with the Huntsman from Chronicles of Priden, even though that's a book. Basically, a group of huntsmen that whenever one of them gets killed, magically their skill and power is dispersed among the rest of it. So they start from being basically mooks, but then if you kill too many of them, they become literally the greatest swordsman in the world.
It's like a strength tontine.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's the reverse ninja problem, right?
Exactly. Well, I mean, I guess strictly speaking, it is the ninja conservation of ninjutsu, but
there you go.
That's the second real Ultimate Power reference we've had tonight.
As one do. I think more on topic with video games. I think the minions from Cultist Simulator. Just because I think it'd be interesting. Learning unspeakable horror about the universes and the hours and stuff like that. Also, you probably get to drink a lot of like 1920s-esque cocktails, like corpse revivers and absinthe.
Good answers all. Well, thank you everybody for writing in with your responses. If you would like to participate in these, become a fan on Facebook. Like us on Facebook.
Become a henchman.
Yeah. Follow our page on Facebook. All of that. They're not henchmen. They're valued team members.
So, unless they don't hit their quotas.
Well, of course, yes. And then they are promoted to customer. Hey, everybody, want to get bummed out even more? Sorry, I'm in a real mood. But yeah,
let's nurse that mood.
Let's see here. But that is at facebook.com/thelevelpodcast.
I was not surprised that nobody answered Batman. Those henchmen are in very precarious situations.
No,
definitely being killed.
I mean, they're hospitalized for life. Yeah.
I feel like that's the good side.
Yeah.
I feel like the worst case scenario is Joker gas, locked in syndrome.
Yes. Yeah. No. Just you pray Batman gets to you. You don't want you don't want Harvey Dent coming for you. How do you guys feel about bundling it up? Oh wait, no shit. We got a different thing. Fuck.
The end boss.
Now it's time for the end boss, where we talk about things that are exciting to us in video games. You guys mind if I go first, so I can get Dark Kole out of the way? I mentioned I was in a mood, right?
Yeah, do it.
So Super Mario Maker 2 is really good. I haven't talked about it, but I have spent I spent a lot of time just kind of monkeying around with custom levels. A lot of great ideas. The filtering makes it so that you can find cool stuff like autoplay levels that are just really fun to watch, or like rhythm game levels where you have to jump at particular times while you're running and it plays songs. Good, cool stuff. But just like everything good and cool online, if there is a space, it has to be ruined by brands. So case in point, fast food companies that are known for their brand Twitter presence, specifically Arby's and Wendy's, have broken in, and they have made their themed worlds. So Wendy's has Frosty World that you can play as, and I don't know what Arby's has.
They have roast beef
the
mountains.
Yeah, they have the meats. Yes.
Don't they literally have a sandwich called Roast Beef Mountain?
I think the Big Montana is what you're thinking of.
All right.
Yeah. But yeah, people are playing them, and apparently they're not terrible. But I am very displeased by brands infringing on this space, even if, there's no artificial wall. It's not like I'm saying is nothing sacred. It's just, it's disappointing that even here.
Yeah, I mean, so one, they better not be terrible, because I guarantee you some agency got paid like $30,000 to make it.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. I would believe it. Yeah, and the thing that I hate about myself is that I'm curious to go look. I'm just curious to see what this actually is, how much of the brand content is there, is it actually a good level, etc. But it just bums me out that you got Wendy's and Arby's coming in here, and I'm not gonna look downward or sideways at anybody who eats at either of those restaurants, but brands are not woke, brands are not funny, they don't care about you, they are just brands. And to see this level of endearment, this kind of reaching out, it doesn't make me feel very good.
Did you see World 1-1 with a twist?
No.
It's like a very hard Mario Maker level that came out within the past week or two.
Okay.
It's basically World 1-1, but there's a bunch of the rotating flames going around.
Oh, I did see that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was called, but yeah. So you have to run through it at a very particular rate because of the way that the flame bars are staggered. Yeah.
There's a very good video game donkey video of him beating that level.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Mario Maker 2 though, it's legit. It's really good. Let's see, Dennis and Ben, you both brought the same one.
Yeah. So this is something I was excited about, but now I'm slightly more reserved.
Yeah. So this was a story I talked about before it came out. Gloomhaven it just got released, I think, within the last week or two on Steam. It's early access. The article that we both are linking to is just basically a criticism of it, saying that it's not that great.
Is this the Polygon?
Yeah. The title says crushes the life out of the popular board game. I feel like that might be a clickbaity article because it seems like most of the complaints with it aren't that major with the game outside of the lack of multiplayer.
Yeah, I feel like the article is
pretty evenly tempered.
Kind of dumb.
Okay.
In that its primary complaints are it's early access, so they haven't added multiplayer yet with it, which the answer is it's early access. And then the fact that they don't have animations for shuffling cards and whatnot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you think the criticism is premature?
Well, it's if you read the article without the headline, I think it would just be like a pretty normal article, you know.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
I was going to ask, like, is there any? I've not read the article because I'm intimidated by Gloomhaven even in its digital form.
In article form.
Yeah, no, I just it's not something I'm actively seeking out information regarding. But I'm curious. Did they have any, like, do they make any substantial criticisms about what the move to digital kind of does to the experience of playing, or is it a bunch of stuff that could either be addressed by, oh yeah, like just it's early access, there's no multiplayer, or is there something kind of like fundamentally different about the presentation, or yeah, I guess the presentation or the digitization that takes something out of it.
So I think it's kind of weird that the story is turning into a criticism of the game. But one of the complaints that they have is that there's not like unpredictability in the Steam version of the game, which is weird because there's not unpredictability in the regular version of the game either. Like, all the monster AI is like very rigid. You control it. You know exactly like where they're going to go and who they're going to target. You know.
Yeah.
So that part I was a little bit confused by. Them being upset with the multiplayer, I think, is a very valid complaint of it, that there's like absolutely no multiplayer in it, because the final version better have multiplayer, otherwise it is not like a true representation of the game.
It seems like multiplayer would be part of a minimum viable product, even in early release. That seems like it would be really important.
Yeah. And
also, +1 buzzword.
Oh, I worked in that marketing for like 8 years, dog, or 7 years.
The other thing that's interesting.
Good.
The other thing that's interesting that it doesn't mention is like, so I think I read this in another article that was about the game that was talking about like how they were going to make it, and they're like making their own campaign, I think, for the Steam version of the game, and they're all over the place. They say like, oh, we consulted with Christopher Isaac, the game designer of the board game, about this level, so we got his input, like about this type of stuff, and so that's like all over the place for like saying what they're doing, even though it's like, I'm sure it's like, here's what we're making, and they just like run it by him, and he's like, all right, and then
That doesn't
like,
sound terrible. Good.
I'll
be over here making my new thing.
Funeral.
Yeah, I don't see any of that information in the article that's talking about the game. So I don't because in the article they mention how the board game's implemented, how you like start off with a blank map and then you go by like location by location and eventually explore all of it and branch storyline and stuff. So I know, I'm not sure if the final version of the Steam game is going to have both versions of what they're trying to do. Like, they're going to have a accurate representation of the board game and they're going to have their own thing or not. Yeah, I don't know. So at least one person wrote a clickbaity article that said that it's bad, but I still don't know what to think of the game.
Dennis,
and I don't want to. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I don't want to pay $25 to find out if it's a good or bad representation of the board game. So,
well, especially if
the
you
board
played
game?
the actual board game, yeah, it's probably not worth it.
Yeah, but the board game's like it's upwards of $100, right?
It's dipping below every now and again at this point. Yeah. Like the price has steadily gone down if you look for deals.
Yeah.
So that's good. I think this was validating for me to hear just how much a game is impacted, even though it's perfectly possible to play single player, how much the game is impacted when you aren't playing with more than one player. Just as I think I talked on a previous episode about kind of experimenting with the idea of a game that was designed for one player. Mm-hmm. It's like, do you really need to design a game for one player? Can you just make a co-op game with rules that one player can kind of take advantage of? And it sounds like, based on watching or reading this, that it's like, okay, no, this actually does make sense, that you really do need to design for that player, multiple players or just one player.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. So we'll see how it grows, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is such like it's a game that I really want to play and beat, but then you need the exact right group of people, and you need so much time.
Yeah.
It is very, very hard to have that come together.
Yeah. Oh, and you left all your Twilight Imperium buddies.
I did.
Yeah.
But if anybody is in or around Austin, Texas, there is a group that meets up once a month at Dragon's Lair to play Twilight Imperium. So
nice.
There is an outlet for that if anyone is looking for that.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't mean to say you left them. It's just you're no longer there. I didn't like I was like
I mean, abandoned would have been a more
just an indelicate word choice. So, David, how about you? You got a story?
Yeah, although I feel like with the quota of like negativity for this, this time around, I don't know. So they released a new patch for Fallout 76, and it basically broke everything. Most notably, it made kind of the main end game thing you do is fighting legendary enemies, which are much more difficult enemies that then drop legendary gear, which is gear with random stats on it. And basically the patch made it so that they no longer drop that gear. However, in addition to that, they then eventually fixed that with the way they fixed it being saying like, oh, well, a bunch of enemies, since, the start of the game, when it was first released, a bunch of enemies were marked as being elite enemies that dropped this special gear, even though they weren't supposed to. So we fixed it in that those enemies now no longer drop this special gear, but the regular enemies do. But this basically had the effect of roughly having the drop rate.
Wow.
And that's especially problematic because, for example, the system is very poorly designed in terms of like making sure that whatever drops is actually useful. Probably the best example I've personally had is I got a radiation gun that had a legendary effect that dealt 20% more damage to ghouls. The only problem is that ghouls are immune to radiation damage. And similarly, there's absolutely, literally all of the drops are completely and utterly random. So there's no way to ensure that you get the drops you want, and there's likewise no way to ensure that the stats you get are on like any of the weapons are actually any good. You could literally get like the perfect stats, but on a stiletto. So yeah, the system's kind of broken, and that basically sums up Fallout.
This is not the first time they've screwed up the game with a patch. I don't know how many times they've done it, but like I remember hearing of at least one where it was a cock up of a similar order of magnitude relatively early on.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, they can't go for quality, so they're going for consistency.
Jeez, oh, Pete. Yeah, that's a mess. I'll be curious. I'll be curious if that gets a second act by the addition of the Battle Royale, or if that ship has sailed.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing I'm interested to see is where things go with the with them adding NPCs, especially because I think what they intend is most likely like, oh, this is going to be some sort of, fairly generic, like, you can either ally with the raiders or the townsfolks and like, do these competitive events and get loot. However, I think the reality of like what people expect is like, hey, you sold us not a game. You owe us basically a game's worth of NPCs. Yeah, I think that the sad thing is this is probably going to be one of those instances where the takeaway they get from this is like, oh, no one, buys single player games, when really the takeaway should be like, hey, you can't make shitty games and expect people to buy them.
Yeah, it would be unjust of them to kill single player games on the back of Fallout 76, which is not a single player game. Arby's faced a key problem as it moved to attract customers. People thought the restaurant served mainly roast beef. To change that, the company made this poster showing a tall stack of every meat on the menu, from bacon to brisket. And then something unexpected happened. People started coming in and asking, "Can I have that?" said Christopher Fuller, the company's vice president of brand and corporate communications. So Arby's began granting their wish.
All right, guys, I'm headed to Cole's house. I'll see. Tell me when he stops going.
The meat mountain, as it's called, will not be listed on the menu, but store associates will make it for customers who ask. The price is $10. For that, you get a bun and, from the bottom up, 2 chicken tenders, 1.5 ounce of roast turkey, 1.5 ounce of ham, 1 slice of Swiss cheese, 1.5 ounce of corned beef, 1.5 ounce brisket, 1.5 ounce of Angus steak, 1 slice of cheddar cheese, 1.5 ounce of roast beef, and 3 half strips of bacon, or 1.5 strips of bacon. Arby's says the meat mountain is so tall that it won't fit into the traditional clamshell packaging, so if you dare to scale the mountain, it will come wrapped in paper.
So what I'm saying is Arby's could make a meat mountain level if they wanted to.
If they wanted
and that's
to.
somewhat justified.
Yeah.
They had that out before Super Mario Maker.
That's not a sandwich. That's something that happens at midnight, and it doesn't happen if the governor calls. That's an execution.
Well, I feel like that's also a surefire way to, make Arby's employees hate you.
Yeah, I don't know if that is something that you order and eat if you need to poop right now, or if it's something you order and eat if you never want to poop again.
What if you need to poop right now and then never
poop again? You guys want to button it up?
I was going to say you order if you want to make sure you have a heart attack while pooping.
Yeah, give me the Elvis.
Oh, no. Yeah, we can button.
Thank you so much, everybody, for listening to this episode of The Level. Sorry about the mood, but everybody take care of each other. Be good neighbors. If you would like to help us out, you can, talk about us on social media. You can join us on Patreon and hop into the Slack channel that we have, where people talk about the things they've been playing and stuff like that. Yeah, it's all it's all a good time. Let's see here. What am I? I think that's it. It's been a longer than average episode. So I've been Kole Ross. You can watch my streams on Twitch at Duckfeed.tv.
I've been Dennis Furia. You can find me at GreenLaser73 on Twitch.
My name's David Myersmith, and I'm in witness protection, so you can't find me, at least not if you're the Mafia.
His online account is the only thing in witness protection, though, not his actual name. I've been Ben Merkel at Merkleby on Twitch.
And stick around for some titles.
David, that's where you go. Who says that's my actual name?
And I've known you for 26 years, David.
Yeah, you'd be amazed at what age you can start snitching nowadays.
So I've got one that I feel really good about. 7 different fetish minds.
pretty good, and that's
pretty good.
pretty on point for us.
Oh goodness.
Who else has a title?
Yeah, I had. Sadly, this was from the conversation that will not go in reverse Shawshank.
we can make people guess.
I had the tortoise and the lazy grasshopper.
Yeah, I also had that.
Okay.
And then finally, I had Jarvis Got Mind.
In addition to the tortoise and the lazy grasshopper, I had dark coals. And undead superhero and undead superhero harem anime.
Okay.
In which case, I think it's a vote for Coles.
I would laugh if I wasn't frowning about that.
How about you, Ben?
I got 2. I got Surprise Nap, and I got Run That by Somebody More Ruined Than You.
That's pretty good too.
Oh man. I don't know. It is probably gauche of me to push for 7 different fetish minds. Run that by somebody more ruined than you is good, but it's pretty lengthy. And I've been trying to move us away from the lengthier ones for a little bit.
Lengthy.
Who has strong feelings?
I'm happy with 7 different fetish minds.
So many people.
I'm okay with that as a title. I am not okay with that as a concept.
Yes, we need to rethink this character.
Right. Hey, don't yuck their yum.
It's fine. Just as long as it doesn't happen in my chat, just don't. Yeah,
not in my chat.
They can have fun. It's fine.
They can have as much cringy fun as they want, says the person who continues to stand right next to them while they're having it. So.
You're in different channels. You're in offline chat, like talking about what you guys are drinking. I will try not to say something obviously titly and then push forward in the future.
Fine.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So we'll go with 7 different fetish minds.
Yes, we will.
Oh yeah. All right. Cool. Well, I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah.
Take care, everybody.
Good times. I'll see you around.
Yeah.
Have a good night, kids.
Later. Bye. Have a good week.